We're now getting a new update on some of the crime numbers that we're seeing when it comes to shootings and homicides in our city. So we know last night, Norfolk Police Chief, he gave residents as well as council members an update on crime in the city and really showed where we're at as far as reported shootings and homicides compared to the last several years. And so far, the chief says that Norfolk has had 29 homicides, which is compared to 18 around the same time last year. And he says that this year has been the highest reported homicides since 2022, when the city had a recorded 42 homicides. So we want to go and play a little bit of the press conference, or at least not to the press conference, but a little bit of his updated numbers as part of City Council's meeting last night. So let's play and take a listen to what he had to say.
Victim year to date. Was the year to date not just where we are right now for this year and the other years shown? Were those year to date also, or those for the total year?
I'm not sure exactly what slide you.
I didn't have the numbers.
Let's see.
There you go. Homicide victims year to date. So 2020 was 31 year to date, or was that total for 2020?
So these are all year-to-date figures.
Okay, perfect. That's what I needed. And last question: where are the guns coming from that are on the streets in Norfolk? Where they trace? What gun store are they tracing that?
The guns. I can't say for sure exactly where all of them are coming from. We typically, what we do know is they're not lawfully possessed, and we know that many of the guns are in different hands over and over again. Through our what's called our NIBIN system technology that allows us to connect shell casings to weapons, we see that it is there are a number of guns that are being passed around from offender to offender. I think you're alluding to what we call a supply side approach to gun violence reduction. It is a hard path to reduce gun violence, looking for the source, given that we're the United States of America and there are guns everywhere. So it leaves us in a place where the most effective mechanism to reduce gun violence is to look for the very small number of offenders that will actually pull the trigger of the firearm in the commission of a crime. That represents a very small percentage of the population, fortunately. So we spend a disproportionate amount of our time focusing on those offenders.
Thank you, Chief. Last is more of a statement than it is a question. I appreciate your work, your efforts, and I know we have to do more from a standpoint of communities to get this issue resolved. It's going to take all of us and all hands on deck. I would just like for people to remember that we have children in the communities where this is taking place. We have senior citizens, and the majority of the citizens that live in these environments are not for the violence. They're caught up in the midst of it. So I want us all to be mindful when it's concentrated in certain areas and to make sure they get the same attention that the rest of the city gets.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Spiegel. Yeah. Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
This is both for you and Mr. Roberts. The 911 operations, great that the time has dropped. It's still a struggle. It also depends on the time that people are calling. If there's a larger incident and everybody's calling at once. I'm going to ask this again. It's been a year, but have we looked into AI technology to help us handle 911 calls and to help people who may be on hold understand that a call may have already come in, alerting us to an incident so that they're not waiting thinking that they're being ignored because we're handling that. There's tons of technology out there now that can handle these types of situations so that when people do have to wait a long time, they know that somebody has already picked up the call for that same incident.
We are ready to deploy deploy an Amazon AI branded tool, starting first with non-emergency, which is where people really get hung up, taking a lot of time. And that will free up resources in the call center generally. We'd like to see how that works on the non-emergency line before implementing that beyond that. But that's ready to go, and you should see a notification from my office and the police department, just helping to make people aware that they will interact with a virtual operator in some instances, but starting out not in life-threatening instances where someone's trying to get a human. Is that fair to characterize it that way?
It is fair. And we're close to the point where we're ready to move forward. I've got to get myself comfortable with the mistakes. You know, humans make mistakes, so does AI. The challenge with AI making mistakes, when you're dealing with people who are already stressed, our tolerance for mistakes goes down, and we will attribute mistakes to the machine versus, you know, other factors. So we want to make sure that it is good enough to get us through non-emergency, and then we'll look at the technology applied to the emergencies as well.
And then my second question was about violence interrupters. How is that program going? Is it going? Do we need to provide more funding towards it? I know that there is a grant that will be working within the schools, but in the community, how's that program going? And what can we do to support it? Because we had a lot of success with that in the past. Do we need to increase and add some more folks or another group to come out and help us in some of the other hot spots? Maybe they're being spread too thin right now.
It is certainly a positive part of our public safety program, and you know, anytime you add additional resources like that into the community, there's going to be a benefit that we can realize. You know, do we have more challenges than the violence interrupters are able to handle? Probably. You know, if we have more of them, there would be more of a benefit. You know, whether or not anything is quote unquote working in this environment is easy to say anecdotally, and beyond that, you're extrapolating beyond where I'm comfortable doing most of the time.
I think we are adequately funded for what we're doing now. Much of that is grant funding. It's certainly something we can talk about in the development of the 28 budget. Okay.
Thank you. Councilman McGee.
Chief, could you, well, first of all, thank you for the update. Thank you for your work each and every day. Can you provide an update in terms of how the current 911 staffing numbers compare to this time last year?
No, I can't, but we can get back to you. I'm not sure exactly where we compare year to date.
And do you have any context in terms of the pipeline for new applicants?
We've been successful attracting candidates. Our 16 vacancies is significantly improved. Wherever we were last year would have been someplace north of that. I'm just not sure exactly where it was, but the challenges of attracting candidates isn't nearly the steep hill it has been in the past. I think 911 is dealing with the same thing we're dealing with in policing. We have big classes that we've been able to attract. The additional, the higher salaries are making a difference. There's no question about it. We're also losing a higher percentage of candidates than we have at other times. I think that there's something that is probably happening across industries in the country that a lot of employers are seeing. So if there are challenges, it's more along the lines of making sure that the people that we're choosing are the best amongst the full population of candidates. You're welcome.
about 50 911 call takers in early 2024. So it has been a significant increase over that, but we can definitely pull the data here.
Thank you.
Councilman Clanton.
Mr. Mayor, Chief, and all the officers, thank you for everything that you all do. I did want to go back to a flock piece, which is always a hot button there. And just a simple question, why flock? What was the emphasis behind getting flock?
The flock brand or just that particular? Well, there are a number of technologies that cities employs to deal with public safety challenges. I think flock is like having cameras. Lots of cities choose to have cameras all over the place. Lots of cities are choosing to have some sort of license plate reading technology. It is well established that it is constitutional, that there are no violations of the law by using it. It is starting to be very clear what a benefit to public safety it is. Anytime that you have something that's a benefit to public safety, the people who realize most of the benefit are the people who are most in need of protection. So the technology itself lends itself to us being more affected in some of the areas that I spoke to Councilmember Page about. The most vulnerable people in our city are not asking us to take flock out of their neighborhoods, nor will they, because I think that it's clear to them the compound nature of crimes in some neighborhoods mean that if you're having shootings in those neighborhoods, there's a really good chance you're also having an increase in theft from motor vehicle, stolen cars, and other types of crimes that are committed by people that shoot each other.
Chief, I want to say, you mentioned two things in your statement there, and that was the cameras. And I do believe we have like a 24-hour crime. That cameras are already around the city. And the other thing is that we've also established that you're always looking for more officers, right? So as a follow-up to that one, if someone was stopped in their car and an officer goes to them, and typically I guess you would ask for license registration, what are you doing at that particular point? You ask for license registration, and then you might go back to your car. Are you running anything to find out if there might be some other?
You would be, now, mind you, it's been a long time since I've done this. I don't pull people over. That's different police. But you would be checking to see if their license is valid, the insurance information, making sure everything that you were given aligns with who you spoke to, and checking to see if there are any warrants for arrest, that sort of thing.
So you would run those tags, you would run that license plate, you would run that ID.
Yeah.
So we've already got something that's established. So if someone got pulled over, and I think you mentioned in that situation with a 9-year-old, that a flock camera literally, where a person may not have been present, but the camera was the eyes that were there to be able to utilize to find out and track who literally the individual who hit and run, where a 9-year-old is in an induced coma, and we were able to find him. We were able to use that and track that. So I just guess my last little piece of that one is that I know there's a lot of things that you see that this is a great return on investment as far as to help you and your officers do what you need to do in order to help keep the city safe.
Yes, sir.
And I'll just say, as Vice Mayor and other colleagues that are here, technology is a great tool. However, I'm constantly open to looking at ways that we can make technology better. It is nothing but a tool for us to be able to use, but it's up to us to make it better. And if there are things, and I think you mentioned, there are safeguards. We've heard about some bad actors and things like that around the country who've done things. But it's incumbent upon us to seek recommendations from the staff to ensure that the citizens of this city feel safe. But like I know in a lot of my communities,
My civic leagues are not saying for me to get rid of flock. And I don't know what a whole bunch of other folks are now, but they are happy to have it. And I take great offense sometimes when I hear about certain communities and individuals using those communities to try to make an argument. And I will publicly say that those communities are not asking for flock to go away. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, so you just heard right there from the chief and city leaders kind of giving an update on the crime numbers and number of homicides we've seen so far this year. And another big topic that a lot of people have been talking about that he hit on right there was the flock cameras. And so here at 13 News Now, we actually found out some more information. We found out that Norfolk taxpayers actually pay $430,000 a year for flock camera subscriptions, and that's according to the city. So we know that federal and state grants help the city get these flock cameras up and running, but we know years later it's the taxpayers that's who's really going to be footing the bill for these annual subscription costs. So we know Norfolk installed about 172 flock cameras back in 2023. Which really, as you heard the chief mention, collects data from license plate, vehicle make and models, bumper stickers, visual damage, etc. They often use them to kind of use like the license plate readers when they're doing their investigations. So again, after 13 News Now sent an inquiry to the city, a spokesperson said that each of the 172 cameras has an annual subscription cost with flock of about $2,500, meaning that the total each year is about $430,000, as I mentioned, on each year on the camera's subscriptions. So we know since the fiscal year 2024, the funds cover the annual $430,000 price tag for the subscription that now comes from the city's general fund. And this means that taxpayers have covered a majority of $1.2 million over the last 3 years to keep the flock cameras up and running.